makes a good sequel? What makes a bad sequel? Especially when it comes to Disney. Hey guys, welcome back to Dylan's Little Hobbies, and in today's video, I am actually a little surprised. Let me tell you how this thing started. So, the fact is, there's this YouTuber, and I'm not gonna name his name, but he does reactions to Disney movies, old Disney movies that he's never seen before. He just never really watched them as a kid. He had no interest in them as a kid. But now he's watching them, and it's interesting to see his point of view on these older movies as an adult watching them. And it's just, it's interesting. And it gives me a chance to revisit them, re-watch them myself, and think about them and form maybe a new opinion or change my old one, or, you know, it's just interesting. I enjoy his videos. I'm not going to name his name though. The fact is, he was watching Peter Pan, and my opinion on the movie hasn't changed much from when I was a kid. As funny as it may seem, I've never really been a big Peter Pan fan. Peter Pan, I find very annoying character, and Wendy's not very a depth character, and the boys, it's fun to watch the boys mess around, but the only real character that does anything interesting is Captain Hook, who actually has a little bit of a story, has a little bit of depth. He's definitely the best part of the movie. The villain, the Hook, and Captain Hook is probably one of the better villains. But I was terrified of Captain Hook as a kid, which is why I again might have not liked this movie a lot. But that's also something great about this movie, is that this movie does indeed give you a scary villain. Captain Hook, as much as they completely destroy him and make him look like a goofy goofball by the end of it, a crybaby, a whiner, they actually do set up a very threatening villain. Especially with that scene where he just shoots the guy singing up the shaft on the ship. That whole scene just scared me. That told me you didn't want to mess with this guy, and I feel like, as much as I do not like this film, Captain Hook is definitely the best part of the film. But Captain Hook is another reason why I don't like the film, because I was scared of Captain Hook! How does that work out? Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm rambling on about Captain Hook. Well, I'm supposed to be rambling on about this movie. Return to Neverland. I never have ever even heard of this movie. Ever. I've never heard of this movie. It is a straight-to-DVD release, which means I should have heard it, actually, because you know what? When it comes to the straight-to-DVD release, especially when it comes to Disney sequels, and there are a lot, I'm thinking about, in another video, I really want to focus on these two films, but in another video, I'd probably am going to talk about the other Disney sequels. But it's just interesting because I watched the majority of Disney sequels out there. I've never heard of this movie. Ever. I never did. Never did. And now I'm going to do kind of a short overlook and a short review of it. So, Return to Neverland. A lot of people are going to say this is just an okay movie, that it's just a reasonably good movie, you know. And here's the funny fact about this. I'm going to say something that a lot of people are probably going to get mad at me for. This is a better movie than this. Wait, what? So, what the heck am I talking about here? Why is Neverland better than the original Peter Pan? The original is the original. Well, it all kind of has to do with the characters. Then again, and this is something that the originals always have to do, The originals have to create this world and invite you in. The sequels have they have the advantage of already having the built-in world and just focusing on the story. And that's why I think this movie is actually a better film. Now, it is a straight-to-DVD release, and you can definitely tell that the animation quality of the movie, it's not the poorest I've seen from Disney, but it's far from the best. It's really a shame, because I think in terms of story, this movie really gets the lesson that Peter Pan is trying to teach you more than the original Peter Pan movie. Now, don't get me wrong, Peter Pan, the original Disney Peter Pan, always a classic, always going to be a classic, always going to be the better movie between the two of them. But frankly, and this is just me, I find the character Peter Pan very annoying. Hook's the best character of them all. Wendy was very bland to me. And I know that this is an older film, and I know it is a Disney film, Disney kids film, but the fact is, considering I've seen a lot of Disney films, and female characters are nothing but bland, and I'm sorry, I feel Wendy was a very bland character for this movie. And the boys, they don't have character. The boys are there as a comic relief. All of the boys. I'm not talking about just her little brothers. I'm talking about the Lost Boys too. And then you get into Tinkerbell. It's interesting that they turned Tinkerbell into a role model. They did. With the whole Disney Fairies franchise, they turned Tinkerbell into a role model for little girls. And that's great. I really enjoyed. I actually watched them myself. I'm not gonna lie. I really enjoyed Tinkerbell in the Tinkerbell Disney Fairies franchise. I really do. But frankly, the original Tinkerbell is anything but a role model. She is nothing but. Oh my god. She tries to kill Wendy like how many times? Three or four times, and it's all about jealousy. She is the one that you don't want to have as a role model at all. No, not at all. And it's kind of a darn shame because the Disney Princess Fairies thing is kind of telling the story of her and made her such a fantastic character, and then you watch the original and it's like, dang. Really? You thought that this girl, this fairy, was going to be a great role model? Now granted, they did it, and I'm surprised and amazed at the fact that they did that because she is not someone that you want to mess with in this movie. And the way that she gets tricked by Hook over just petty jealousy, it fits the character, but it's still a sad part of the movie. For me, I just don't like this movie, I guess. Peter Pan is not my least favorite Disney movie, but it's close. It's close. With that said, what about Return to Neverland? Return to Neverland. When I watched this movie, I wasn't expecting anything good. I had low expectations. It's a straight-to-home release after all. But the very fact is, this is a far better movie. And it's interesting because when you have a movie like this, when you have a story all wrapped up in a nice little bow like Peter Pan originally was, to open it up again and tell pretty much the same story is actually kind of a bad move when you think about it, but it works in this case. And in fact, this movie tells the lesson of Peter Pan better than the original Peter Pan did. So what are the original lessons from Peter Pan that you're supposed to take? So, in the original Peter Pan movie, you're supposed to learn about growing up, that you don't want to stay this stupid, childish character that Peter Pan is. But at the same time, you don't want to lose your childhood either. You don't want to lose the magic either. And this whole movie is supposed to show you that it's okay to grow up, but you don't have to lose the magic of childhood growing up either, you know? And that's why even the adults, at the end of the movie, their father comes by and says that they saw that ship when he was a little boy. He hasn't lost his childhood magic either, even though he's an adult. I mean, when in the beginning of the movie, it looks like all the adults lost the magic of childhood. And now Wendy is told that she needs to grow up as well. And then Peter Pan shows up, she's childish again, but through the whole thing, and Wendy's the main character of the movie. It's not Peter Pan, it's Wendy. She is just slowly learns that she does need to grow up. She learns why she needs to grow up. But the thing is, the way they did it just made her kind of a bland character that I'm afraid I just didn't really like her. But then you have Jane, Wendy's daughter, and that's actually kind of interesting, and I actually kind of like that. It's very difficult when you open up an already wrapped up story like that and take the exact same characters, and if you don't get the exact same characters right as they did in the first movie, well, you end up with a bad sequel. A great example of this is actually Mulan. So, Mulan, when you think of her, you think of the confident woman that she is, right? And when you watch Mulan 2, that's what she is. She is strong, she is confident, and even in her struggles, she knows what to do. But that isn't the original Mulan. A lot of people don't know that. Have you watched the original Mulan? Mulan doesn't know what to do. She struggles with that. And yes, she does become a great, confident woman at the end of the movie, and of course, Mulan 2 takes place after the movie, but without her having that struggle of not knowing what to do, it makes her a very bland character, and she's supposed to be the main character of Mulan 2. So that's why, in my opinion, Mulan 2 does not work. Well, there are a couple other reasons why Mulan 2 doesn't work as a sequel, but the main reason is because they don't get the main character right. And when you actually open up with a brand new main character related to the other one, Star Wars is actually kind of in the same boat, except they're kind of going the wrong way, whereas I feel like this one went the right way. When you open up with a brand new main character, which is Jane, I know it's Wendy's daughter, but it is Jane, and go through the same story, I don't know, it just worked out better than the original did. Jane has so much more depth. We get to learn about her father. He goes to war, unfortunately, and she feels like she needs to be the grown-up of the family, even though she's like 9 or 10 years old. And then she gets mad at her brother because her brother is being like a child, and there's also this kind of thing where it feels like she wants to be a child, but she has to be an adult, so she acts like an adult, and she gets mad at him for trying to be a child. And that's when she ends up getting kidnapped by Hook, taken to the whole Neverland, and meets Peter Pan. Now, Peter Pan is the same character Peter Pan is, and I find him very annoying. I find Hook actually as terrifying as he is in the original. I find him as funny and pathetic as he is in the original as well. But I find Jane's whole turn on Peter Pan, how Hook manipulated her and tricked her, much better. Her motives are much better than Tink's, because Tink's motives was all about just trying to be with Peter Pan and getting rid of Wendy. Jane's motives are just trying to get home and be an adult. She has learned her lesson. She has learned that it is okay to be a kid, but it is okay to grow up. And I feel like this movie really strives to make that a strong point of the movie, whereas in the original, it's there, it's an important lesson, but like they don't pay much attention to it, and it kind of just ends on a quick note. That's it. And I just kind of found it kind of funny when I ended up watching this movie, and I ended up enjoying myself watching this movie more than I did the original Peter Pan. Other than the animation, it's a much better story, but it's because it doesn't have to focus on world building. It can just focus on story and character development, which to me that is super important. That is what a sequel is supposed to do. Now, when a sequel doesn't do that, like again in Mulan 2, then it just feels like a bland, just make money film. That's it, quick buck, that's it. But it's always interesting that when I watch these sequels, that these are supposed to be just quick bucks movies, that's about it. But a lot of the times these end up being better than the originals to me, because they're so story driven. When they do story driven stories, granted, some of them they don't do story driven or character driven stories. They just do here's something, watch it, give me your money stories. But when they do stories like this that are character and story driven, much more than the original, and a little less world building, it makes great. It makes a great movie. It really does. I love this movie. It's also really interesting because Star Wars is trying to do the same thing, but for some reason, I'm just not liking that at all. There you have it, my thoughts on this movie. So, this movie, watch it, guys. It's the animation, yes, it's a little poor, but it's not terrible. It's actually pretty good. And the story-driven story is great because it doesn't have much world building, but that's because, well, it doesn't have to focus on that because we're already treading on a already built world. So, I think this movie is probably one of the best sequels. I'll probably do like another video talking about other Star Wars sequels and making a review list. I think that'd be fun. Thank you guys for watching, and I am out. Bye.